What is going on, everybody? OJ's Mafia. How are the people doing, guys? In today's video, I got a unique idea for you guys. We're going to be talking about the biggest pull-out merchants in each and every division in the UFC, alright? Basically, when you see these guys fight in the octagon, you're like, holy shit, bro. I actually never thought I'd see this guy fight ever again, because he's just kept pulling out of every single fight he's been scheduled to have it. Whether it's due to, injury, illness, whatever it is, guys. I will be talking about certain people in each and every division on a PowerPoint slide. But guys, as always, man, before we get into this video, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. We got some banger content coming out in the future. But guys, we're going to start in the flyweight division with my friend Matthew Schnell. Now, Matt Schnell is an interesting case, right? This guy has been knocked out several times in the flyweight division, which is kind of strange, because if you're fighting at flyweight, where it's, just all the little men, you should not really be getting KO'd by anybody, you know what I mean? There's not too much knockout power at flyweight, but, that's not the case with Matt Schnell. He's been KO'd multiple times. Flyweight fights, they never usually end in a knockout, and my boy Matt Schnell is, continuously getting knocked out by random flyweights, which has got to suck. But not only that, I didn't put him on this list for that reason. He has had 8 fight cancellations in the last couple years. That's a lot of fights. I don't think he pulled out of every single fight that got cancelled, but you get the point. My boy is a pull-out merchant. You are getting put on the list, my boy Matt Schnell. We move on to an even worse pull-out merchant at flyweight, guys. His name is Alex Perez. Now, guys, the last time this dude fought was against the, the new champion Alessandro Pantoja last year. But take a look at this guy's fucking resume, dude. He has more cancelled fights than actual fights in the UFC. Bruh. This guy is the pound-for-pound pull-out merchant king, alright? This guy is honestly worse than Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa is absolutely horrible, and Alex Perez takes the cake, okay? Like I said, he's fought twice in 3 years. Low-key the biggest pull-out merchant. I've never seen this dude in the cage, probably like twice or once, but yeah. Alex Perez, dude, you take the #1 pound-for-pound spot. We move on into the bantamweight division now, guys. I'm going to have to bring his name up, Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, I think Umar Nurmagomedov is low-key the most avoided fighter at bantamweight, but he is also low-key a bit of a pull-out merchant, alright? He's had 5 cancelled UFC fights, and he's only fought 4 times in the UFC. More cancelled fights than actual fights again. Now, that's one of the reasons why I'm going to have to add him on this list. Every single fight that's been cancelled on his resume, it's not really him pulling out, but most of them are, so you're going to have to go on the list, little bro. But, yeah, man, you know what I mean? He just pulled out of a fight with Corey Sandhagen, got a brutal shoulder injury. I really feel for the guy, so let's see if we can get that fight to happen again. But we move on to the next fighter at bantamweight, Old Man Ronnie Yaya. Now, guys, this man is like 38 years old. He's been in the UFC for multiple years. He's an OG of the game. He really is. But like I said, he's an old man, bro. He's had multiple, cancellations in his fights. He was supposed to fight Cody Garbrandt twice, but I think bro should just retire, to be honest with you, bro. I mean, he's a pull-out merchant. In the featherweight division, guys, we have Giga Chikadze. Now, Giga Chikadze just pulled out of his fight against Josh Emmett at UFC 296. As you can see right here, he just suffered a groin injury. Really got a feel for the guy. And, of course, it's Merab Dvalishvili who injured him. Little gremlin. But on a serious note, you know what I mean? Giga Chikadze, ever since he got traumatized by Calvin Kattar, you know what I mean? He has never been the same, to be honest with you. Recently just fought Alex Caceres, and after he fought Calvin Kattar, you know what I mean? He's had a lot of cancelled fights, right? He's had to pull out of, fights with injury. The guy's a pull-out merchant, man. I'm sorry, bro. I gotta chuck you on the list, my guy. We move on to Movsar Evloev now, guys. I think Movsar Evloev is low-key, the most avoided fighter in the featherweight division. This guy's dangerous, amazing grappler. Habib at featherweight, low-key. Now, over the past couple years, he's had 8 fight cancellations. He does get injured a lot, or he low-key does get sick. So, I'm chucking you on the list, bro. Pull out merchant. At lightweight, guys, we have our boy, one of our favorite fighters, alright? Charles do Bronx Oliveira. Listen, bro, listen. I don't want to say it, but Charles Oliveira is a pull-out merchant, alright? I don't want to disrespect a man like that, but, look what he did against Islam Makhachev in his last fight. He literally fucking had a sparring session, the last round of a sparring session, gets a cut and pulls out of his fight, okay? Not only that, but, same thing with Beneil Dariush, they were supposed to fight at UFC 288, and Charles had to pull out with an injury, midway through that camp, and now they got rescheduled for the card after, but you get the point. Charles Oliveira, low-key, does pull out of a lot of fights. The king of pulling out of fights, alright? Guram Kutateladze. Now, I remember when everybody thought Guram was going to be a future champion, then he got finished by Elvis Brenner, which is crazy, but yeah, he is the most hyped UFC fighter in history, super injury prone. This guy gets injured all the time, has had plenty of cancelled fights. You are an absolutely perfect candidate to be on this list, my boy Guram Kutateladze. At welterweight, guys, we're going to have to discuss my guy, Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. Now, Jeff Neal, one of the biggest power punchers, at welterweight, in my opinion, but he does have a tendency to, pull out of fights, whether that's due to injury or sickness. You know, his last fight was against Shavkat Rakhmonov, where he weighed in, you know, 4 pounds overweight, I believe, you know what I mean? He's like a fat Jeff Neal that wasn't even in shape. Did really good against Shavkat, but, you know, you get the point. This guy, you know, he's not 100% fit to compete, and he pulls out of certain fights. He was supposed to fight Ian Gary at UFC 292. You know, he had to pull out at 2 weeks before, I believe, and it just sucks, man. It just sucks. You're heading on the list, Jeff Neal. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, guys.
Shavkat Rakhmonov. That man gives me chills.
Shavkat deserves to be on this list, not because he actually like pulls out of fights, but because he's the most avoided welterweight on the roster. I truly believe that. You know, the reason he can't get fights and always has canceled fights is people are always fucking pulling out when it comes to fighting him. They do not want to fight this man, all right? Look at this dude's resume.
I disapprove 100%. And
in the middleweight division, all right, you already know who we're talking about here, boys. Paulo Costa. Now, this guy, I don't even need to say that much, bro. Just look at my screen. This guy has not fought at all this year. Take a look at this man's resume, all right? The guy is, you know, so fucking inconsistent, bro. This guy does not fight at all. He really, like, this guy disappoints us on the daily, bro. You know what I mean? I remember when he was supposed to fight Ikram Aliskerov, you know, that fight got cancelled. You know, he was supposed to fight Hamza, but then he had an injury. Like, bro, all we want to do is just watch you fight in that cage, and you can't even rock up to the cage. Like, when I see Paulo Costa actually make it to the octagon, it's like watching like the full moon, you know what I mean? Like, you will never see this guy step foot in the cage. He does more talking on Twitter than actually fighting, and it's really annoying, bro. He has not fought at all this year. Like I said, this video was made for Paulo Costa. Look who's on the middle of the thumbnail, blood. You know what I mean? He never fails to disappoint me, bro, personally. But yeah, you're a pullout merchant, Paulo Costa. At light heavyweight, guys, we have one MMA fighter, right? Now, he's going to be the only guy at light heavyweight, but his name is Azamat Murzakanov. Now, this guy is undefeated at 13-0. Pretty good fighter, man. You know, pretty good fighter. He's a dangerous guy. You know, he's 34 years old. You know, classic Russian dude. He's actually not a wrestler, right? You know, when you think of Dagestani fighters, you think of dominant wrestlers, but he's a wicked striker. You know, he likes to strike on the feet. He likes to knock people out, and yeah, man, he's had 3 UFC fights, and he's had like 5 UFC cancellations, all right? Take a look at this guy's resume. You know, super injury prone, like I say. This guy always gets injured. He just pulled out of a fight with Khalil Roundtree, who will be actually fighting this weekend. So, you know, they were supposed to fight last weekend, but Azamat Murzakanov got injured, and it's just a shame, bro. This guy's really good, but he has a tendency to get injured and, you know, pull out of a lot of fights. When you are pulling out of, you know, more fights than actual UFC fights you have, there is a problem. So you deserve to be on the list, my boy. In the last division, guys, we're going to be talking about the heavyweight division, the big boy division, and we're going to talk about Walt, the big ticket Harris. Now, Walt Harris, you know, this guy has a tendency for, you know, never fighting. We have not seen this guy fight in the octagon for over 2 years. Recently just popped for steroids. You know, he was supposed to fight Josh Parisian a couple months back, and he got pulled out, you know, the same week that he had the fight. Literally, like, just cannot catch a break. Yeah, I don't think this dude will ever fight again, and I couldn't really think of anyone else a heavyweight to put on the list other than my boy Walt Harris, the big ticket. This guy, you know, when he fights, he can knock a lot of people in the heavyweight division out, but he's a, you know, very hit or miss fighter. So you're a pull-out merchant, my boy. You're done. You had your chance. You're done. You're going on the list, yeah? And that's all I have for you guys today with the pull out merchant video, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you enjoyed the idea of this video, guys. If I missed anyone, you know, who pulls out of a lot of fights, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I will be coming out with my full card predictions later this week for UFC Fight Night Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez. But guys, until next time, like this video, subscribe, take care, my brother. Peace.